welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a quick and easy way to design a t-shirt. We're going to be tracing and we're going to be using a light box effect. For those of you who don't know what a light box is, anyways, we're going to be tracing today. I'm not a very good drawer, and this is for people who are not very good at drawing. It's a great way to get a good design on a t-shirt. The things you will need for this project are a plain white t-shirt with no designs on it, which you can pick up at your local craft store. I picked up my t-shirt at my local Michael's store. I'm designing this shirt for a concert I'm going to next year in 2018. I'm going to see a band called AJR, and so I've already started designing my shirt, and I put their logo on the front of the shirt, which is why my shirt is not completely blank, but you want your shirt to be completely blank, and you also want your shirt to be white because I find that white works best for this art project. Next, you want some fabric paint, and I have 2 bottles of Tulip Slick True Red fabric paint. You can use whatever kind of fabric paint you want. One of my bottles is almost empty because I used a lot of it for my t-shirt, so I got an extra one that's unopened just in case I need it. That's why I have 2 bottles. Next, you need your design or your text or whatever you want to put on your t-shirt. So I'm not very good at writing text using fabric paint on a t-shirt, so I printed out my text onto a piece of paper. That way it's easier for me to line everything up and make sure that it looks nice and neat on the back of my shirt, which is what I'm designing now. So these are the names of the band members in AJR, and I just typed out their names using the Arial bold font in Microsoft Paint, and then I printed this out using the black ink only setting that my computer has. If you use Adobe Photoshop or InDesign or Illustrator, you can design something in that program. You can find a picture off of Google Images. You can go to the website for your favorite band or singer and use their logo. There are so many different ways that you can get a design, but basically you just want to print that design out. I find it's easier if the design is printed out on just some plain computer paper. You don't have to print it any special way. And then I also kind of trimmed around the design, which you don't have to do, but it was easier for me. And I also suggest that when you're printing this design or text or whatever you're printing, to print it using a black ink only setting or a black and white setting, or if anything you can use a grayscale setting because it makes the design more visible through your t-shirt when you're tracing. And the next thing you're going to want is a pen. I find that if you use a pencil, it does not show up on a t-shirt. And also if you use a marker like a Sharpie or some other kind of marker, there's a chance that the marker could bleed through to the other side of your shirt, which is why, like a pen, it does not bleed through the shirt. And also you can see it on a shirt. And next you're going to need a sliding glass door or a window. I have a sliding glass door in my room, as you can see, which has a good amount of sunlight shining through it. You want it to be a nice sunny day, and you want there to be some light coming through the sliding glass door or the window that you use. The last thing you're going to need is some scotch tape. And I find that scotch tape not only works to stick things to glass surfaces, which is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be sticking our t-shirt to a glass surface, but it comes off cleanly with no marks or anything else like that. Even if scotch tape does leave a little bit of a mark, it's very easy to take some water on a paper towel and just clean that off, or use a Windex to clean it off. Alrighty, and now on how to complete this tutorial. So I turn my t-shirt to the back side because I'm going to be working on the back side of the shirt. And you definitely want to have your shirt on a flat surface. It works best. I have mine on my bed, which is not so flat. So this is not exactly the best place to do it, but this is just for the demonstration purposes. Alright, so next thing you're going to do is take at least 2 pieces of scotch tape, and I've already pre-ripped my pieces of scotch tape because it's hard to rip them with one hand while I'm holding a camera. And then you're going to stick them onto your design. So you're going to turn your design over to the back, and you're going to stick your scotch tape sticky side down. So you're going to put one at the top of your design and then another at the bottom of your design. And then you're going to turn your design right side up again. So you can't really see it here, but the sticky side of the scotch tape is now facing up, and the design is now also upright as well. Next, you're going to take your design, you're going to stick it inside your shirt. As I have done here, I've just stuck my text design inside my shirt. Then you just want to to position your design where you want it to go on the back of your shirt or the front of your shirt, depending on which side you're designing. So I'm going to position this to where I want it to go on the back of my shirt. And because this was printed with black ink, I can kind of see it through my white t-shirt, so I can actually get a good sense of where I want this to go. So I'm just going to push it up further in my shirt all the way to the top, and then I'm just going to smooth out my shirt. You want to make sure that it's all smoothed out, and then I'm just going to straighten my design. And as you can see, you can kind of see it through the shirt, which helps me to get a good estimate of where I want my design to go. And once I feel like I've got my design in a good spot, I just kind of smooth the bottom of my shirt where the design is, and also the top, because there's tape, and the tape helps the design stick on the inside of the shirt, so that way when you put the t-shirt onto your glass surface, the design does not fall out. And once you've got your design placed where you want it to go inside your shirt, you're going to hang your shirt onto your sliding glass door or your window using your scotch tape, because it's hard for you to film and do this with one hand. I've already started hanging my shirt, but basically you're just going to take pieces of scotch tape and use them to secure your shirt to the window so that it does not fall off. And you're going to put those pieces of scotch tape on your shirt in places where you think they will help to hold your shirt up. So I'm going to put a piece of scotch tape, which I have pre-ripped, because like I said, it's hard for you to do this with one hand and film, on the sleeve, and then put the sleeve onto the window. And then I'm going to use my other piece of scotch tape for the other sleeve on the other side. And you're just going to continue to do that with all the parts of your shirt that you think will help your shirt to stick to the window and not fall down. And you want to make sure to stretch out your shirt so that there are no wrinkles in it. Alrighty, now I've completely got my shirt hung up on my sliding glass door. And as you can see, because there's light shining through the sliding glass door, it makes my design more visible, which you can see if you move forward. It doesn't really show it that much on camera, but the light from the sun acts as natural light source that helps to illuminate the design inside the shirt to make it easier for you to see and easier for you to trace. So that is what I'm going to do now. All I'm going to do is take my pen and I'm just going to trace my design. It's hard for me to do this with one hand, so I'm going to come back to you when it's all done. Alrighty, now I've got my design traced onto my t-shirt. One little section of my t-shirt is a little wet because I had to remove a stain, but other than that, as you can see, all the text looks very straight and very clean. The lines don't have to be 100% clean and perfect because you're going to go over them with fabric paint, but the point is that you now have a good looking design on your shirt and you don't have to worry about keeping things in straight lines or making sure you draw things perfectly. Alrighty, and so I've moved my shirt over to a nice flat table surface, and the last thing I want to do is to fill in my trace design with my fabric paint, for which of course you'll need fabric paint and also some kind of cardboard to stick inside your shirt so that the fabric paint does not bleed from one side to the other. And you can use an old cardboard box if you've got one, or you can also take the back off of a lined paper notepad and use that, or any other kind of cardboard that you have. I have these pieces from an old notebook, and I find that these also work at the front and the back, and depending on how big your piece of cardboard is and depending how big your design is, you may need more than one piece of cardboard inside your shirt to make sure that your design does not bleed from one side to the other. You can kind of see it here, but what I did was I took one piece of my notebook, the back of the notebook to be exact, and I put it inside my shirt and I positioned it so my entire design is on top of that piece of notebook. Like I said, this prevents your fabric paint from bleeding through to the other side of your shirt, and you want to use something thick, which is why I said cardboard. And the backs of the notebooks, this is just a spiral notebook that was old that I had. I find that the backs of those notebooks, and the fronts too I should say, work really well for this, which you could use that as well if you have an old spiral notebook that you no longer use. And all you've got to do now is just fill in your tracing with fabric paint, and then you are all done. And I've started tracing the back of my shirt with fabric paint, and as you can see, the fabric paint lines are pretty much very clean and straight because I traced my design onto my t-shirt before I started using the fabric paint. It makes my shirt look a lot nicer than it would have if I had just gone in with fabric paint from the very beginning. Anyways, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you like and subscribe and all the good things, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye!